What happens when a real estate developer goes up against the wrath of forest animals? Easy. You've got this film right here celebrating its 15th anniversary today. But is it really a bad film? Or can I just prove that they're just not right with the craziness of these forest animals? Here's a review of Furry Vengeance. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Noel, better known to as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a review of the 2010 family comedy flick Furry Vengeance, released by Summit Entertainment, directed by Roger Campbell, from a script by Michael Carnes and Josh Gilbert, starring Brendan Fraser along with Brooke Shields, Ken Jeong, and Alice Drummond in her final feature film role, featuring vocal effects by Dee Bradley Baker. The film was released on this date, April 30th, 2010. The film was, in a way, was kind of a disappointment at the box office. It did go past just a tiny bit over its budget, but I'll get to that later. Anyway, let's get into the story. In the wilderness of, let me try again. Sorry. Okay. In the wilderness of Oregon, a prairie dog screams after a guy named Riggs drives past and throws a cigar at it while talking to Lyman Enterprise CEO Neil Lyman on the phone while planning to check up on co-worker Dan Sanders. This causes a raccoon to signal a mink to release a boulder that pushes Riggs' car to the edge of a cliff, teetering back and forth. After that, the raccoon throws the cigar back to Riggs, who yells, "You're a bad raccoon!" Then the raccoon then blows the car down the cliff. Riggs is then heard calling up Lyman to tell him he quits. Now we go to the main character of the film, Dan Sanders, a real estate developer from Chicago and nature lover who meets with Lyman, who gives Dan the task of turning the forest of Rocky Springs into a residential development after Riggs' instant resignation. This all transpires much to the objections of Dan's son Tyler and wife Tammy, who are unhappy in Rocky Springs while missing their lives in Chicago. Unfortunately for Dan, the animals who are led by the raccoon refuse to sit back and watch their forest being destroyed. So they manage to turn the tables on him by disturbing his progress, interrupting his meetings, and humiliating him. Upon receiving some research from his love interest, Amber, Tyler tells his father that Rocky Springs is a forest reserve, where he warns his father that many have tried to sell Rocky Springs, but they all failed. Following an attack by a grizzly bear that traps him in a tipped-over portable toilet, Dan signs orders to have a drill sergeant capture and cage all the animals. Oh boy. Now this is pretty short story, so I'm now going to proceed now to the final act and ending right now. So you need to stop this video immediately, go to the description box below, and fast forward to the time below to avoid ending spoilers. So you know the procedure. You got 5 seconds, which is going to be starting right about now. Okay, you've been warned. Meanwhile, Tammy is forced to plan an eco-friendly fair with a senile teacher, Mrs. Martin, at the high school, which is sponsored by Lyman Enterprises. Unaware of Lyman's plans to cut down the forest to build houses at a shopping mall with a forest theme, figuring this out, and the fact that Neil lied about planning to send the animals to the nature preserve, Dan decides to set the animals free. Once released, the raccoon and his friends immediately wreak havoc on the eco fair, causing the guests and entertainers to flee, while Mrs. Martin, who doesn't seem to care, well, give a care about what's going on around her, talks to an owl. Lyman accidentally tranquilizes the sponsor for the construction named Mr. Gupta after he attempted to break their deal. He flees into a worm tunnel with the animals in close pursuit. The animals begin attacking him as the bear drives a golf cart, pulling the tunnel away into the forest. After some convincing from Amber and Tammy, Tyler finally tells his father that he loves him. 3 months later, the forest is reclaimed as a nature preserve, with Dan working as a park ranger. And the poster promoting the forest preservation also states that anyone who violates the rules will be fined $1 million in the story. But during the credits, the humans and animals dance to a cover version of Insane in the Brain by the band Transcenders. And that's that. So what did I think of Furry Vengeance? Now, I've only seen this twice now, because I just finished watching this just now. I am going to say, well, it was fair on the first watch, but on the second time watch, it was funny. I will say it was pretty comical and what have you. I mean, it had the feel of other films that had animals going around causing a little bit of craziness and what have you, like Doctor Dolittle 2 or the Alvin and the Chipmunks films, or heck, even films that later followed, like the Woody Woodpecker films. Well, unfortunately, this film kind of bombed at the box office. Well, it didn't really bomb. It kind of just underperformed, making $36.2 million on its $35 million budget. And critics and audiences were not impressed, as this film has a mere 8% on Rotten Tomatoes, saying a thin premise stretched far beyond serviceable length. The film subjects Brendan Fraser and the audience to 92 minutes of abuse. Well, one of the one reviewer for who named Tim Ryan, who wrote for Rotten Tomatoes, wrote that despite the film's great premise, critics say the film is no over the hedge. Instead, it's a mirthless, aggressively dumb family comedy that substitutes slapstick violence for laughs or a message. The pundits say any attempts at wit and satire are forcefully avoided. Instead, sadistic, cartoonish violence is the order of the day, and the result is a painful experience for the whole family. Well, it remained the lowest rated film of 2010 on the site until the release of The Last Airbender, which only got a measly 6%. I might review that, but let's not get too far ahead of ourselves yet. But I'm not really sure if I want to. I mean, Metacritic wasn't impressed with 23 reviews and reported the film garnered some of the worst reviews for a major release this year. However, audiences polled by CinemaScore gave it a B+. Radio Times said the eco-friendly heart of the movie is unfortunately clumsy, and there's an even more laborious message about the importance of family and roots. Fraser's lantern-jawed mugging becomes irritating all too soon, although younger viewers may get a kick out of the ingenious antics of skunks, raccoons, and grizzly bears as they get the better of numbskull humans. Well, yes, I agree on that. Although I know a Times critic negatively summarized this film as over the hedge through the lens of daycare. Yep. Also, Ryan Cumble somehow makes everything the repeated 5 times. Too many to mention. Well, I am just going to say there's too many bad reviews. However, there was a decent review from Empire saying Fraser's gift for goofball comedy gets a full workout. Brooke Shields proves game for a laugh, and there's a decent subtext about corporate hypocrisy. The CG enhanced animals don't talk, and the comedy is as broad as a barn. No face goes unsprayed by skunks, no crotch unsplashed by sprinklers, but kids, not to mention grown-up fans of knockabout comedy, will howl like hyenas. Yep, this was just wow. It was just so crazy and what have you. So, well, in ways, the film actually did bomb. It was the ninth biggest box office bomb of 2010, opening over 2,000 plus theaters, and what have you. But I understand and what have you. But anyway, I do think this had a little some pretty craziness with the animals and what have you. You'll see their facial reactions going a little craziness, which it's not the first time I've seen that happen. The score from Edward Schimmer wasn't too bad. Now the cover of Insane the Brain by Transcenders, yeah, it's okay. I still prefer Cypress Hill's version though. Not that I'm being rude and what have you, but there's lots of other songs and what have you. One thing I did like was when the animals well just kind of vandalized Dan's house in a little bit of a nightmare segment, and they were getting down to "Le Freak" by Chic. That was pretty funny and what have you. Believe me, Brendan Fraser is absolutely crazy and zany as Dan Sanders. He is very funny and what have you. I actually did like his performance. Brooke Shields appears in this as Tammy, and she's not too bad. She's pretty good. Matt Prokop played Tyler. He wasn't too bad. Ken Jeong played Neil Lyman. I'm going to say he's an oddball at times. Of course, after he recently did The Hangover right after this. Let's see. There's Angela Kinsey, who played Lyman's personal assistant, Felder. And let me see. Wilson, who is played by Toby Huss, who most people would remember for playing Ari on Nickelodeon's The Adventures of Pete and Pete, as well as his voice acting work as Khan and Cotton on King of the Hill. He also appeared on Carnival and Halt and Catch Fire as well. Yeah, pretty funny character. Playing Amber is Skylar Samuels, who would later go on to appear on Wizards of Waverly Place. Well, she recently appeared on there, as well as Scream Queens and several other shows. And well, there was lots of others. Rob Riggle appears as Riggs, and Wallace Shawn played a therapist, Dancy's named Dr. Christian Burr. Unfortunately, those two were uncredited. Yes. Finally, Alice Drummond played Mrs. Martin. Of course, most people would remember her for playing Mrs. Finkel in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, but most people would remember her as the librarian from the beginning of Ghostbusters. This was her last film. But I gotta give credit to Dee Bradley Baker, who I've heard his voice in numerous cartoons. He did the vocal effects of the raccoon and the other forest animals, an experience he described as a lot of fun. I agree. Now, that I think he did pretty good at doing. So that's it. Furry Vengeance can be a hit or miss and what have you, but hey, I can understand why this film bombed at the box office. I can't really say, well, and even though I kind of just didn't think I would enjoy this at first, but then just last year I gave it a first time watch and it was fine, what have you. But again, after I watched it a second time, give it another try, it was pretty funny. So you be the judge in seeing this. So would I recommend it? I'd say I'm going to give it a draw between give it a one-time watch if you are into hilarious animal type flicks getting at humans, or avoid this. Okay, that's it. So it's a draw. So, what did you think of Furry Vengeance? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel. Make it grow and make the views grow. Tell all your friends about my channel, get them to know me. Maybe they'd like to be a part of my Big D Nation. Share my vids with your friends if you like. And stay tuned for the May channel schedule coming up, well, tomorrow morning. So, and if you like this, check out my reviews of these other films with some funny critters from the forest. In the upper left-hand corner is my review of Alvin and the Chipmunks, the movie from 2007. Or go to the upper right-hand corner and see my review of the live-action Woody Woodpecker film. Or maybe if you would like, well, another fun flick about saving the forest, check out my review of Dr. Dolittle 2 from 2001 in the bottom left-hand corner. In the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.